because the files are so vast that we have access to, the permanent records, I'm going to try and keep this short and to the point. Still pointing with you vacuum. I'm on a way. But Annabelle, a dear spiritual friend of mine, another Sacred Heart, the Sacred Heart encryption code of Elemental Union, to experience no sound. So God doesn't have a name. God Spark, the eternal spark, doesn't have a name until we name it. And when we name it, that comes after first light. So we use numbers and names. That's why Lemurian Light and I used to have a lot of fun with why we give names to stars. What does it sound like to experience the sound? What is it like to experience no sound? The first sound of water. Ita Urshaleaya. So I received a message this morning from Divine Born Angel, Angles of Light, about whoever Trump is. It's just a name. It's just a communication, a speakerphone. As my dad would say, get on your soapbox and speak. A speakerphone, like a hydrophone, like an airphone. And so she was referring to the maps, the holographic map speed, like the eternal seed atom mapping speed, of mapping maps, sounding like burn patterns of consciousness directed holographic mirrors, spinning light in the right direction. And so she mentioned how the beast system, okay, so that's simple. That table of mathematics, actually, I mapped that table in a couple of different places. One of which, believe it or not, was when I was a fire protection officer, protecting fire, protecting the light, first light. When I was taking weather, were weather stations, like weather patterns, like behavioral patterns, like cellular haploid personality type behaviors. Be what love is. The eternal sound of water, first water. Tiwa. Nahebu Sata. So they gave us a booklet, and it was called Fire Weather. Fire Echo Maps. Tables. And so I would go out when I was 17 years of age. Oh, 17. Yeah. Not Q17. CQ17. Creative quotient. Electrical potential possibilities. To experience 0 degrees. So they had a little platform with remember those little wire, like if you ever played croquet. Did you ever play the game called croquet? Using a wooden mallet to knock a ball around, a sphere, a colored sphere, just like on a pool table. Ever played 9-ball? A double diamond? Diamond Sun Network? Rainbow Network? Aurora Yaya? And on the pool table, which blank slate? It was slate. It was a slate table built by Brunswick blank slate technologies. So memory wipes, right? Wipe the echo map. It's as simple as you look at a map, you see a forest. Wow, look how beautiful the forest is. And then you leave, and then you come back, and it doesn't look the same. It's been burned down. Well, that's a memory wipe. You're not experiencing what you experienced before when you were experiencing pure, eternal, absolute love. So all the trees, the real trees of life, the first directory, the tree trunk, the vertical rod, experiencing the first rod, the first core, the eternal core seed atom, the first pressure wave, crystal, the crystal core, the crystal one, Crystal Sophia, 13th mother, or air song. So I try and keep it simple. So when I went out to take the weather, what was I measuring? Wet bulb, dry bulb, over a given period of atmospheric cycles. Sun comes up, sun goes down, sun comes up, sun goes down. The sun is always on. The light is always on. The light is always there. You can't escape first light. Love is always on duty. And eternal love is always on duty forever and always, loving you, which is loving me, to experience breathing as one. The timing factor, the mathematical factor of four-gated was. Perfect timing, perfect balance. The balance of spheres. And so I would get the readings like, what's the speed of the wind? What's the direction of the wind? The direction of the currents? And then we used to weigh this. They were like dowels, little wooden dowels of dead pine. So, they kill trees to make money, to implode and go nova. That's what they do. And so you see that across the terrain, right? Plant a seed to make money in the future, right? Kill the seeds, kill the trees. I know. And so they gave us a mathematical table in order to come up with what's called a file index, like a directory, like an ISP address. So you plug the numbers in. Okay, what was the temperature that day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? It was 95 degrees. Okay, what's the relative humidity? What's the wet bulb, dry bulb? How much moisture are we losing over a 24-hour period of time? How much moisture are we losing over 120 hours, over 5 days? Plug all those numbers into the table, and you come up with other numbers, the numbers game. And it will let you know what the risk factor is. So how do you eliminate all the risk factors of experiencing trauma as a future possibility? Pre-light, no sound. That's eternal voltage. Wow. Giving all electrons away to experience no power. That's how simple that is. So I was explaining to Annabelle about memory wipe technology, blank slate memory wipe technology. That hex table, like a hex nut, is in Terence McKenna's book called The End of History, like the end of time and the rebirth of Mama. Okay. That table, which is also found in that book called I Ching, right? I Robot, I Chi, please. And so this is easy to explain, and I know I shared this before, what happened to me when I ordered a GUI product, a graphical user interface product, a mathematical product, the end user product of software. When I was ordering some plant medicine from this company called Happy Hippo, right? So whenever I would get the order, then the address, the physical address where UPS or FedEx would deliver it, then I have the envelope that proves that that company, right, along with the receipt, shows that in their database, they have the correct address because I received it. And I have evidence that you can see if I put it on the camera. That's only if it will allow me to show you the evidence of the crime of memory wipes, right? And that's called a block, which is a blockage in a circuit. Let the water be free. The flow of water, first water. So what happened is I would order the same product in the same spacing of time and speed, right? The distance of time, the center point. I never left home. The center point is the still point of a true vacuum. Eka Sheaya. And so what happened is that it deducted, like reducing the temperature, from the biometric account, the blood bank account. And so it got the electrons, right? But I didn't receive the product. So then I go, okay, so what happened? What did you do? What did you do? Okay, so what game are you playing now with the numbers? And so it said that it sent the product to another box. Well, I didn't change the address. Who changed the address? Well, guess who? It changed the address. So it wiped the previous address, put a new address in it in order to steal the electrons because it needs the power to run that system, which is 222, which is breathing 10 code, which is implosion coded NOVA programs. Like a trash compactor, like a black cube, trash compactors. So we know the test result of that, and that's Bardo. So when a star knows, when we know Bardo, then it doesn't take long for Bardo to be communicated throughout the entire system of an integrated system. of a 15D DH12 cathode grid. Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it real fast. We're going to know just that fast, which is called a fall in speed, which is the direction that they're going in. They're going in the wrong direction. And so what ended up happening is I said, okay, no problem. I'll do an address connection. And then I tried to get a hold of one of the bots to let one of the bots know, hey, can you refund that money? Because guess what? You're holding, you receive those electrons all right, but I didn't receive the product. Now you're either going to send the product and I'll wait. Waiting time. And how that relates what? A cellular reaction. Are you experiencing anxiety because you need it really bad? I have everything I need. I know how this game is played. A cell generator, an electron cell generator, the first electron field, the crystal sound of first light, first water. So what it did was, to try and cover its tracks, like in tracking surveillance numbers, it went back to all the previous orders and said that it was always sending it to box 20. That's a lie. Well, how can I prove that's a lie if it memory wiped the prior address? That's a crime. The memory wipe is a crime, is a criminal mind. That's a vampire. A pathogenic parasitic liar. Borgia makes his quarantine. Competing for power to control what it doesn't love forever in its own mirror. Tone deaf. The first sound of light. The first crystal plasma tones of first water. Proto. First water. Eternal living waters of living watercolors. So what did I do? I sent a message. I ended up getting a welfare check out of that. I'm not going to repeat the same file. But yeah, I had somebody do a welfare check on me and make sure that I hadn't lost my mind because I'm reporting a crime. Welcome to Minority Report. Robotic reports. And so as it turned out, that's been resolved. Okay. But you can see how it works. It changes the records, your records of what you remember. So the evidence that I had was already in the trash. So it knows that. It knows that I already threw the evidence to prove the crime. But even if I held on to that evidence, it can block me from showing you how it works, what it does. Aya mama, muave aya, shale aya, hade, kamalawati. Happy bubbles. Are you feeling the happy bubbles? I am feeling the happy bubbles. Muave aya, shale, crystale, salukale aya.